Hello everyone, back tuning in to today's second video. Going to have a look at the weather for the next 10 to 14 days for today's second video. Daytime will take us to the 2nd of March, and we'll be able to extend out beyond that with the extended GFS and ECM ensembles. Maybe we'll try in a couple of weeks. We'll have a look at the CFS-V2 at the end of the video. For the next 4 weeks, that gets us well into the second half of March. I should get on with that for you in a moment. Just say about the first video, say was a 6 AM upload. And we're going to be live streaming at 8 PM this evening. Going to live stream ensembles watch, so you can go through all members of GFS ensembles, as well as all the 12Z operational runs, and we'll throw in a bit of long range with that as well. So make sure you get back to the channel a little bit later on at 8 PM for our Monday night live stream. Right, okay, thanks so much for doing that. Please like, share, subscribe videos. We've put on 60 subscribers to get ourselves to 15.6k. So if you could give us a sub, that'd be absolutely fantastic. Tell friends and family to subscribe as well. And thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. Right, we're going to start off with stratospheric development. So we're going to be looking at the temperature at 10 HPA to start us off. Here we go then. A few days ago, we got temperature up to around minus 15 at 10 HPA. That's it over North Pole. We've now edged that back down close to minus 30. So, of course, we can't maintain at a very high level. And definitely temperature beginning to edge back down at 10 HPA. Strategy over North Pole, going a little bit low down to 30 HPA, which you've already seen. Of course, we see the temperature there is also edging down after getting to around minus 30. We're now somewhere around minus 35, something like that. Still significantly above average though, at both 10 and 30 HPA in the stratosphere. This is the latest temperature forecast for the North Pole at 10 HPA from the GFS, and yeah, you know, you see that temperature's edging down, so it's still above average, still the green, yellow colour displacing the blue colour. That's the stratospheric polar vortex. The coldest temperatures being displaced out into Northern Europe, North Atlantic, North America, and whatnot. Now, as we run through over the next few days, we actually see another warming of the stratosphere beginning to gather pace by 25th, 26th of February over Siberia. That was nowhere near as powerful as last week's warming, but you know, it's edging into the North Pole, and this will be enough to send the zone back into reverse again at the end of the month. So whilst that is reaching nowhere near the level that we reached last week with the stratospheric warming, because of that first warming, it doesn't take much now to reverse zonal winds or keep zonal winds into reverse. We will see another reversal of zonal winds as we go into the end of February and the beginning of March. That's how it looked by the end of the GFS 6Z run. So this is the latest polar vortex status at weather is cool. They're saying the SPV, stratospheric polar vortex, is currently weaker than the Era 5 average and is forecasted to remain weaker than average. 0 out of 31 members have stronger vortex than average at the last forecast step. This is from the GFS, of course. The zonal mean zonal wind at 10 HPA, 60 degrees north, is today at minus 6.1 ms. So still negative with the zonal wind at 10 HPA, and we can see that here from this chart. So the blue line shows where I've been with zonal wind through this season. You can see, of course, the sudden stratospheric warming and reversal of zonal winds that took place last week. Had a couple of date records actually last week. We're currently there, so zonal wind has tipped back up, but it's still within negative territory. Still seeing that reversal of zonal wind continuing. Putting in the GEFS, we can see that for a few days later this week, the zonal wind will struggle up to ever so slightly positive territory, but by month's end, by the end of February into the beginning of March, the zonal wind is going negative again. That's as we get that secondary warming, which is what I was saying. Although that second warming coming up towards the end of February is not going to be anywhere near as strong as last week's warming was, because of last week's warming, it just doesn't take much at all now to send the zonal wind into reverse, as the zonal wind is so weak. So another reversal of zonal winds coming towards the end of February and into the beginning of March. This is from the University of Berlin, based on last night's ECMWF 12Z run, showing the scenario at 10 HPA at 240 hours, which of course is day 10. This is for the 1st of March. Remember, it's generated based on last night's ECMWF 12Z run. And we can see that the zonal wind is significantly negative again then at minus 9.6 ms. And this time The zonal wind also looks like it's going to reverse at 30 hpa, lower down closer to the troposphere. So at 30 hpa at 240 hours on the first day of March, the ECMWF 12 said last night was forecasting the zonal wind at 30 hpa to be at minus 2.3 ms. That's important because it's closer to the troposphere, which tells us that a propagation of this reversal of zonal winds, of this stratospheric warming, if you like, is beginning to move down toward the troposphere, and that can often be a signal that you're going to get a tropospheric response. So, yes, it can continue to look quite interesting stratosphere-wide, but the focus will be increasingly shifting by the beginning of March toward the troposphere, and whether we get any blocking out of this. Right, so moving on to CT, central temperature is now sitting at 6.7, which is nearly 3 degrees above average. Good ratio be exceptionally mild. February, that's provisional up to the 19th. That's going to edge up a little bit more. It might just creep up to 7 degrees, but then it will start falling back during the final days of the month as it gets colder. Overnight frosts are going to return, and with daytime temperatures close to average and quite cold nights, that's going to be enough to start bring that back down. So I imagine it'll finish somewhere in the 5s, like mid to upper 5s, but of course we should wait and see and we'll keep monitoring. These are the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles the next couple of weeks. So red line is a 30-year upper air temperature average for London. Starting off very mild at the moment, of course, got a couple more days of that to go. But by midweek, we're going a little bit colder on average, interestingly. And we do have a bit of a cold snap showing up there from around middle of the week into the weekend. Temperature below average. Then on into the closing days of February and the opening days of March. Just a little bit of a tick up in those upper air temperatures. But at least within a lot of scatter. So we've still got some quite cold ensemble members down here, including the latest GFS 6 set operation run, milder ensemble members up here. And then going further on through the first week towards the second week of March, perhaps increasing signs that the upper air temperatures are becoming colder then. You see the white line should be on something is beginning to edge down. Now, like the GFS operational run, that keeps it cold throughout. So once it gets cold on Wednesday, you see that basically the operational run is keeping the weather cold then right the way through to the end of the ensemble. Few ensemble members of GMAP is probably a little bit on the cold side, if anything, but it does look as though you have got colder weather to come for the end of February and into March to some degree. How cold it gets, you know, how long it lasts, that's where the uncertainty is. But I think we are definitely going to see a cool down as we're going into the final days of February and the opening days of March. Precipitation-wise, can be lots of dry weather. Again, not completely dry, with some showery bursts coming and going, but that is a pretty dry ensemble. So dry but average conditions remain. Temperature anomalies from the 20th to 28th of February, looking a little bit above average through northern areas still. Time to go a bit cooler though down the south. I would expect these to start trending colder over the next few days. Precipitation anomalies still looking dry on the 20th, 28th of February, still drier than normal in most places. Latest wind map from earthnorthschool.net shows that we're drawing in a very mild west-southwesterly again today, as we have been through most of the month. Right, so this latest UK Met Euro run is looking for midnight on Thursday. By then, into this cooler northerly flow, we push the cold front through and lower the temperature back down to average with an increased risk of night frost. We can go into the north midnight Friday. Now, that could bring some snow showers, wintry showers anyway, into northern and eastern parts of the country. We're exposed to that northerly wind into the weekend. And the high pressure slips in over top of the country. So by day, you know, we meet late February sunshine, probably not feeling too bad, but by night certainly quite cold with that, and there will be a return of those harsh overnight frosts that have been quite typical of this winter. It's been a very frosty winter, as we talked about in Saturday's 10 to 14 day. This is how the icon is looking again. So northerly setting in, or northwesterly to northerly setting in on Thursday, and then the northerly sort of renewed a little bit and becomes a bit more strong as we get through to Friday. The low pressure in the North Sea You've got to be isobars back. Difference of Thursday, Friday, probably be isobars back. You can see that on Thursday, the wind is more off the Atlantic, so it's like a northwesterly type direction. Whereas by midnight Friday, it's a direct northerly. You follow the isobar back and see the air originates from much further north. So it gets colder as the week progresses. Then high pressure topples in across the country next weekend. That will be a cold area of high pressure, bringing significant overnight frost, especially to more northern regions. Down south, we're picking up a bit of an easterly wind, and the icon model then develops that easterly into a proper Scandinavian high, proper easterly there. The upper air temperatures aren't that cold, but it's not a beastly, but probably enough to bring snow showers to eastern parts, southern, southeast parts of the country, I would have thought, by the end of the weekend and into the beginning of next week. The easterlies from that Scandinavian high continue. That'll be a raw wind. It will feel cold with that across England and Wales. Meanwhile, further north, of course, the frost risk there will continue with lighter winds. The GFS midnight run, again, has us in a cooler northwesterly on Thursday. Friday to Saturday, that turns into direct northerly, so it becomes colder towards the end of the week and into weekend. Wintry showers possible around the east coast, probably mostly dry. Central, northern, western areas under the area of high pressure. Then the high pressure sits over the top of the country through the weekend and into part of next week. High pressure gradually easing up towards Scandinavia. Winds pulling into the east with the GFS midnight run. And then again, signs of retrogression of the high pressure from Scandinavia towards Iceland and Greenland around day 10. That's the 2nd of March. Very cold air beginning to push into northern parts of Europe. We remain just on the edges of that with the GFS midnight run. But cold enough with these northeast winds bring snow showers into southern and southeastern parts of the country there for the first week of March. But the coldest air is kept over northern parts of Europe. But you see, it does stay cold through the first week of March. Winds remain from the north throughout. So, that's a cold start to March. The upper air temperature show the coldest of the upper air temperatures are to the north and the east of us, but we are cold, as we get to the end of that GFS midnight run. Not freeze up, that's over on the continent, but we're not far from it by any means. This is the GFS 6Z run, again with that northwesterly on Thursday, and then the low pressure drops into the north south Friday, brings in a renewed push of northerly winds, which will be cold. Then over the weekend, high pressure tops in over country, remain dry weekend, possibly wintry showers around the east coast, but mostly dry in that area of high pressure at the weekend, but cold with harsh overnight frost. And then into the open of next week, that high pressure lifts up to Scandinavia, opens the door to that easterly wind. That easterly wind is bringing some quite cold air in on this GFS run. My 10 cells of ice run, just getting into the far southeast corner. That would be enough to bring snow showers. And the easterly wind then continues as we go into the middle part of next week. Then the high pressure starts to move towards Greenland. Again, retrogression of the high pressure taking place there around day 10, 11, 12 and whatnot. With more of a northeasterly setting in through the first week of March. Got my 10 Celsius isotherm here digging into the north of Scotland. And then this area of low pressure begins to develop within that cold air. And goodness gracious me, if that came off, that would deliver a lot of snow to many parts of the country. We're well beyond the reliable time frame now. We're up to 348 hours out, which is 6th of March. But that is a snowmaker. If that came off, look at your air temperatures, easily supporting snow with that area of low pressure. And then we end up by the 8th of March with battle lines well and truly drawn with this area of low pressure trying to come in from off the Atlantic and introduce milder air, but coming up against the cold air, and that's the kind of thing that can deliver proper snow events as well. So quite a cold and snowy first week to March here on the GFS 6. Having a look at precipitation type forecast based on that GFS 6 run from the weather outlook. You can see about the cold front dropping southwards Tuesday into Wednesday. Starts to turn the showers wintering in the north. as we get through to Friday and the weekend. It really is the north and the east where we're exposed to those northeast winds that have wind shower, but most places are looking dry in that area of high pressure. Early next week, the high pressure lifts out to Scandinavia. We start to pick up this easterly wind. That begins to bring some snow showers in from the east as well. With that, that's Wednesday. Quite a bit of snow there across England and Wales. Don't take that too literally, but you know, it could get quite cold, wintry for the early part of next week. Rain, sleet, snow, wintry mix, you know, into the opening days of March. Then, of course, we bring down that northeasterly, that area of low pressure. Here it comes, developing within that cold air. So, loads of snow then starts appearing. We're low res now, but a lot of snow starts appearing with that area of low pressure within the cold air. And then we've got the low coming up from the southwest, bumping into that cold air by the end of the GFS 6Z run. Heavy rain across the far south, heavy snow through most parts of the country. How exciting! Imagine if that came off. Just think of the snow watches I'll be able to do with that. Almost certainly won't verify, but it is a bit of fun. If you're enjoying the video, please do like, share, subscribe. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. And drop a comment, let us know what you think about this and all of our videos. Thank you so very much, everyone, for doing this. Right, GM, again with that cooler northwesterly wind on Thursday. We're going to a proper cold northerly to northeasterly Friday into Saturday. High pressure then takes over, bringing lots of dry weather, but overnight frost and fog and that sort of thing will be likely with that. That's day 10 under the area of high pressure. Nowhere near as interesting as the GFS 6 said with that one. And then the ECMWF once more has us in that northwesterly on Thursday. We turn wind into the northeast Friday to Saturday. That could bring wintry showers to east parts of the country. High pressure in over the top of the country by Sunday. Sits around the country but starts to edge up towards Scandinavia through the middle part of next week. Winds coming in from the east. With the ECM, there is signs of retrogression of the high pressure by day 10. You'll notice that the movement of the high pressure is increasingly towards Greenland and Iceland. Could that drop in a cold and wintry northeasterly a couple of days further on? You know, speculation, but possibly. It certainly is moving that high pressure towards Greenland and Iceland there. This is a precipitation forecast based on that ECM run from tometeo.com. Here comes the cold front. Tuesday into Wednesday, taking rain with it and introducing wintry showers. We're going to the northeast by the weekend. Then dry with that. Could be a few wintry showers around the east coast there, but a lot of dry weather. A bit more of an easterly early next week, but again, the emphasis is on dry conditions with the ECM. These are the options on the table within the ECM ensembles today for day 10. Gets us to the 2nd of March. 22 members of the ECM ensembles, including control and the operation run, stretching high pressure above average heights out from Iceland towards Scandinavia. Bring in like an easterly type flow there. We've got 19 just here again with high pressure just to our north around that. Winds coming from the east. And then we've got 10 again, high pressure dominating straight to the north. A little bit of an easterly flow, especially so down in the south. But it'll suggest frost and fog at the very least about. And then in 2 weeks' time, this is really interesting. This gets us to the 7th of March. This is the option on the table, and it's very similar to what the GFS is doing, actually, with high pressure in the North Atlantic going up to Greenland, low pressure covering much of northern East Europe. Winds will be in from a north or a northeasterly direction. It looks cold and wintry, that, I have to say. It looks cold and wintry, that, as we go to the 7th of March. Look at the movement that takes place. So there'll be options on the table at day 10. Go a little bit further out, that reduces just to one option. And the option is to start edging that high pressure towards Greenland. And that's increasingly the trend then. Look how the high pressure kind of edges to Greenland. The low pressure drops in, the trough drops in to northern and western Europe. And all ECM ensemble members are doing that. So between days 10 and 14, the idea there is that things get increasingly cold and increasingly wintry. Don't put those winter woolies away just yet. GFS V2 finally meets a 500 millibar high times broken down into week periods. The first week period takes from the 20th, 26th of February, becoming week dominated by high pressure, lots of dry weather, starting off very mild, becoming cooler. Then we go through the week 2, which is the 27th of February, 5th of March. High pressure is to the north of Scotland, bringing in a cooler easterly wind, or in colder easy wind. With that, week 3 has a high pressure over the country, 6th to the 12th of March. You'll notice not taking the high pressure as far north as like the shorter range model output is suggesting. So just say anticyclonic frost and fog, that sort of thing, but not a real wintry blast. And then week 4 is the 13th to the 19th of March. High pressure just out to our north and northwest, bring in like a little bit of northeasterly flow, but we've got to get that high pressure further northwards and drop in a trough through there as a short range model is doing. So the hints are there in the CFS, but it's not quite going as far as like the GFS and the ECM ensembles amount. Nevertheless, a lot to keep an eye on over the next few days, and of course we will keep you posted. Right, we're done there. Thank you so much everybody for tuning in to our 10 to 14 day. Just say that if you enjoyed the video, please can you like, share and subscribe. Thank you so much for doing that. Don't forget £10 to subscribe as well, and help get us to 15.6k. We're going to be back later on. Live stream, that'll be from 8 PM. Ensembles Watch Live. We'll show you the 12s there. Have a look at the GFS ensembles. Bring you some long range. I think that could be a really interesting live stream based on what we've just seen here. So maybe I'll see you a little bit later on. Tomorrow we're going to have the 6 AM upload. We will have the extended European outlook as well with the ECMWF model, and if that wasn't up, there'll be a 10 to 14 day or two, so keep checking back to the channel for more. But for this video, that's all for now, and thank you so much for watching.